Hello everyone, welcome back to my YouTube channel, and if this is your first time here, my name is Grace and I share sewing tutorials on this channel. In this tutorial, we're going to be learning how to cut and sew a tube bustier top like the one you can see on the screen. Perfectly structured without the support of any boning, well padded and also well finished. So this particular method I'm going to be teaching in this tutorial is the very best for bustiers of all sizes. So make sure that you watch this tutorial to the end. Don't also forget to like, share and comment, and also subscribe to this YouTube channel. With no further ado, let's get into the video and start learning. The first thing is to work on this bustier pattern, and I've already drawn out a basic bodice pattern without the side measurement for both the front and the back. Now on the front, I have my chest line at 8 inches, the bust point at 10 inches, and my waistline at 17 inches. The last line there is my hip line at 24 inches. While for the back, my waistline is at 15.5 inches. Because if you measure from your shoulder to waist in front, it's usually longer than from the shoulder to waist at the back, because we have breast at the front, and that difference is a major factor when it comes to drafting a good pattern for your bustiers or for your corset. Now this is the front waist and this is the front hip, and this is the back waist and this is the back hip line, while the other lines, this is the bust point, this is the chest line like I said earlier, and I'm also going to label for the back as well, the bust point and the chest line. Now take note that whatever you have between the front waist and the front hip must be what you will have between the back waist and the back hip as well, regardless of the difference in the waistline measurement. So mine is 7 inches from the waist to the hip in front, and that is also what I have from the waist to the hip at the back. So can you see the difference between the lines of the waist on both the front and the back? That will be corrected with a bust dart later when we are drafting this pattern. So I will just go ahead now and cut out the excesses at the down part of both the front and the back. So if you happen not to know how to draft a basic bodice pattern before, I'm going to be linking a tutorial that I have on my channel right here at the top, and I will also put it in the description box so that you can watch it before you watch this video. Now you can see that the front is longer than the back a little. That's because of the differences between the waistlines, and like I said, is going to be corrected with a bust dart later. So I'm going to take off the back pattern now and work on this front pattern. Now the first thing that I'm going to be doing is to draw my under bust line. From the first line there, which is the shoulder line, I'll draw my under bust. My under bust is at 13 inches. So when I measure from my shoulder to my under bust, I have 13 inches. I'm going to mark that and draw a straight line across. So this line is the under bust line. Then also, since this is a tube bustier, I'm going to be taking the measurement of the cup height, that is where I want the bustier to start, and I'm going to be just using 7 inches from the shoulder line. So that place will be the place where the off shoulder will stop. I hope you understand that. I'll call it the cup height. That's the extent to which the cup is going to reach. So if you want your own to be more covered, you can do maybe 6 inches off shoulder, or if you want your own to be more exposed, you can just maintain the chest line. So on the under bust now, I'm going to be doing my under bust tightening. So remember that from the measurements tutorial, the under bust tightening formula that we used gave us 1.5 inches, which is bust circumference divided by 4 minus under bust circumference divided by 4. So mine gave me 1.5 inches. I'm going to be placing the 1.5 now on this under bust line. So towards the side that is going to the middle, I will give it half an inch, and towards the side that is going to the other side, I will give it 1 inch. That's how I like to share my own. You can as well do it equal on both sides, but as for me, I like putting it on either of the side. So if it's 2 inches, you can as well do half and 1.5, or you just do 1 on both sides, depending on what your own is. So from that point now, from those points that I marked, I'm going to connect with a cuff to the bust point. So make sure that curve is not too sharp and is not too straight. So can you see? just look for something that you can use to do it, and you can use it your free hand too if you don't have this ruler, but if you have, it's going to be much helpful. Then I will now connect those to the waistline, to the that area at the waistline like this. So just watch what I'm doing. If you don't really understand what I'm saying, just watch it clearly. So can you see? That's how we get the under bust tightening. So in order to now get the tightening at the hover bust area, at that cup height area, I'm going to be dividing this shoulder slope area into two. I have 5 inches here. That divided into two will give me 2.5. So I'm just going to mark that 2.5 like this, and I'm going to use a slant to connect to the bust point like this. So you just use your straight ruler to connect that part to the bust point. Then I would have just said that on this cup height line, you should just come out of the straight line by 1 inch on both sides to get your tightening. But because this is a tube bustier that will not be having like a yoke or something that will hold it at the top, and we want it to be very firm at the bust area, I will do this instead. So on that line on the shoulder where I just marked now, I'll take 1 inch apart from the straight line like this, and then connect it like a dart to meet the bust point. So just watch what I'm doing. So I'm going to connect it with a straight line down to the bust point, as you can see. So we are doing this particular method because this is a tube bustier and we need it to be very firm as the chest. So if it were something that will have a yoke now, we might not have to do all this. Now on that cup height line at that area, I will now come out by half an inch each on both sides. So I'm using the dart that passed through that cup height as a guide. So I will come out by half an inch on both sides, then use a curve to connect back to the bust point as well. I hope you understand this. The method might be looking complicated, but actually it's the very best method that will give you that perfect result that you are looking for when you are making a bustier. So now that I've done this now, I'm going to now measure this that I just took now, because it's not, the both of them are not straight. So I'll measure them to see if there's a side that is longer than the other. So I realize that this side is longer than that one. I will now replace what I have on the side that is longer, even if it's just 0.1 inch. I will replace it on the shorter that area. So it's just something very tiny, and I just replace that, and I will use my ruler to connect it together. This is so that when you are joining the bustier at the end of the day, one will not be looking shorter than the other. So now that we've gotten the under bust and the over bust tightening, the next thing now is that I'm going to measure the length that I want this top to be. Of course, I don't want it to be too long or to get to my hip line, so I measured mine at 22 inches. That's how long I want it to be. And then I will now place my side measurements on the chest line. It will be my bust circumference divided by 4 plus whatever I have in between these dots. I'm going to replace it on the chest line like this. Then I will move to the under bust, place my under bust measurements divided by 4, which mine is 30 inches. That divided by 4 will give me 7.5 inches. I'm going to mark that 7.5 inches like this. Then measure what I have in between these dots and replace it again. So this is very important. Replacement of dots is very important. Now on this waistline also, I'll do the same thing. Place my waist measurement divided by 4, and then measure whatever is in between the dots and place it there like this. Then on the last line, which is the hip line, I'm going to be using the former hip line like this. I will place my hip circumference measurement divided by 4, which mine is 40, and that divided by 4 will give me 10 inches. So now that I've done this, I'm going to be connecting those points at the side. Those last points that I just took now, I'll connect them at the side. So now that we are done shaping the side of the top, now let's move into the bust, that area. So on this bust point, I'm going to be coming down by 1.5 inch, which is the difference between the waistline of the front and the waistline of the back. So I will mark that 1.5 inch like this and connect it with a slant to the bust point. Just place it like this and connect to the bust point directly. Then I'm just going to mark that area out. We are going to be eliminating it later. So I don't also want the hem of this blouse to just be straight like that. So from this side I will come up by 1 inch like this, and I will curve that into that area just to give it like a shape on the side. So I'm just going to curve it like that. So don't mind the pencil mistakes that I was making here. I just wanted to give it like a curved shape at the hem. So after that, I'm just going to like cut that side that I did now. I'll cut it out. So can you see that it's giving it some kind of shape? So now it's time to determine the type of neckline I want. So I want a sweetheart neckline. I want it to be a little bit deep. So from this chest line, I will just be coming down with about half an inch, depending on how deep you want your own to be. So from the cup height I came down from, that's like 1.5 from the cup height. I will now connect it to that leg of the over bust tightening. I hope you understand. I'll just connect it in so that it will give that deep shape of a sweetheart neckline. Then I'm going to connect the other parts to the armhole line. So I'm just maintaining my armhole line here. I'll curve it like that. So make sure that it curves. Don't let it be too straight or too sharp. Just make it curve and curve it into the chest line, that is the armhole line. So the next thing now is to slash open this dart from the middle. I'll slash it open from the middle line so that I'll be able to take off that bust dart in order to be able to cut out this pattern very well. So I'm folding the bust dart from down up. That's the best way to fold it. Just fold from down up like this. Then I'm going to grab my sellotape and tape it up. So when you close the bust dart up, you might notice that they want to be like a shortage of the measurement one doesn't want to align at that place, so you just have to close it up. Mine is very, very tiny. In another person's case it might be much, so you just have to close it up and complement for that side. So I'm just marking out that area that we are going to be cutting out, and yeah, that's majorly it. This does not have a yoke, so I'll just go ahead now and blend all those my curves to make sure that they are not too sharp. Then I will cut this out. So just watch the way I'm cutting it. So these are the two pieces we are going to be working with for the fronts. Now I'm going to label this the center front and this is the side front. Now it's time to work on the back pattern, and the back pattern is really simple. So I already have my lines here, just like I have in front. Then I'll make sure I adjust the full length of the back pattern too. Remember that we cut out some from the front because I don't want the top to go all the way to my hip. So I'm going to measure what I have between the waist and the full length of the front, and also replace that at the back too, so that we have the same length for the front and back. So I'll draw a straight line across like that. Then the next thing that I'm going to do is to just place the side measurement. So on the waistline, I'll place my waist measurement divided by 4, and I will replace the dart like this. And also on the hip line, I'll place my hip measurement divided by 4. Then I'm going to connect with a curve at the side. Now I'll work on the way I want the neckline of the back to be. So I'm going to be maintaining the armhole of the back too, since we maintain that armhole curve side of the front. So I'll just come down by half an inch here from the chest line. Then I'll connect it into the armhole side like this. just to give it a little bit of shape so that it will not just be straight at the back. So on that line, I will come out by 1/2 inch on both sides, or let's say 3/4 of an inch, and I will connect it to the dart at the waist. This is just to make sure that that area does not gape when we are done sewing. So when I do that, I'm going to now replace what I have in between that dart on the chest line area and connect it back to the waist. So whenever you take a dart like that, make sure you replace it so that you will not be short of fabric when you are sewing. So at the waistline now, I will eliminate zipper budge. So I came in by 0.75 inch on the waistline. Then I will connect it up like this and also connect it downwards. You know, our back is not straight, that's why we always eliminate zipper budge like this. Then I will do the same thing I did at the side of the front, came up by 1 inch, then curve it into the dart, just so that we have the same thing at the side, both front and back. So that's basically it for the back. And on this dart area, I'm trying to confirm if those darts are the same length, and if one is longer than the other, I will just like complement for the one that is longer and curve that side again, so that we don't have a dart that is longer than each other. Well, all this is optional, but these are just things you do when you pay attention to details really well. So this is the center back and this is the side back. Then I will go ahead and also label it up and down, because when we cut this finish, you might be confused about the patterns. So I labeled it up, down, and center back and side back. So I'll go ahead and cut this out now. So I'm also cutting out the zipper budge area and also the darts area, as you can see. So these are the patterns that we are going to be making use of for this 2 bustier blouse. Now I'm going to, for the back, I'm going to be creating arrows to the place that we will join together, and I'm just making sure that the side of the front and the back aligns. So can you see that if not for the bust that the side will not align? So that's the purpose of bust that. Now it's time to cut on my fabric. I have my fabric here. I'm going to fold it into 2 like this, then I'll place my pattern right on it. But for this center front, I realized that it's too long for the fold of the fabric, so I'm going to cut these ones first. I'm going to be placing these other ones first, then I'll look for a way to fold the fabric another way in order to cut that center front. So I'm just pinning down my paper on the fabric like this. I'll pin everything all the way, and I'll make sure that there are spaces between each patterns in order to be able to add my allowances very well. So at the side of the side front like this, I'm going to be adding sewing allowance of 1.5 inch, and that is what I'm marking. So when I mark it, I'll use my ruler again to just connect it to make sure that it's giving the same shape. Then at the other parts, I'm going to be adding just 1/2 inch seam allowance all the way around, just to aid joining at the end of the day. Then at this side too, I'm going to be adding the center back. I'm going to be adding 1.5 inch for zipper allowance. Don't forget that. Remember, we didn't have the allowance on the pattern, so it is very important that we do that now on this part. So I'm just making sure that they are not colliding with each other with the side front. So I'm making sure that I just place that my zipper allowance of 1.5 inch at the center back for zip. So I'm just adding 1/2 inch to the other side, and also for the side back, the side I will be joining to the center back, I will add 1/2 inch for joining allowance, and then add 1.5 at the side of the side back too, because we added 1.5 too for the side front. So just adding the allowance so that everything will align, and I also added 1/2 inch to the down part. So I will just go ahead and cut this out according to everything that I just marked. So like I said, for this center front, I'm going to fold the fabric in a way that is going to accommodate it very well. So I made sure that the center front is placed on a fold, that middle part is placed on a fold. Then I added just half an inch allowance all the way around it. So all our pieces are ready now. Then I will also go ahead to cut out lining pieces for each of these pieces. Then it is also important to notch the bust point at this front area, so that when you are joining, you know where the bust point is. So I would notch the bust points on both the center front and the side front, and I will also notch the under bust area. I will also go ahead and cut out lining for all the pieces that I have here, and that will be all for this particular tutorial. The next tutorial will be the one where we will join everything together and have a whole piece like this. So make sure that you subscribe to this YouTube channel if you have not, and also turn on your notification bell so that you will be notified when I drop the sewing tutorial.